Okay, so I have a few things. It's weird. One of the things is the war stuff, the stuff that's going on about that is building. Like I keep seeing all these like special reports and breaking news and stuff like that about something going on over with them. I haven't been going in and listening to all the reports. It's just like, because I mean, we've listened to them before and they can lead to nowhere. The whole thing is that it's got to lead somewhere. Something's got to go down. And there's a lot of stuff going on too with the money stuff. So all those things are building up, and then more and more with the truth stuff, more and more with the sky stuff. Like, I have seen so many videos with people all around the country in this heavy, dense fog that they're like, we've been in dense fog for 5 days. What's happening? And totally freaking out. And then people are like, well, as I see this one woman and she keeps saying, it's not volcanic ash. Some people who are trying to make sense of it are telling her it's volcanic ash because there's 3 volcanoes going on. And people are super worried about the Yellowstone, as if Yellowstone goes, because all these other ones are going, I have no idea. Like, this is one of those things like where we don't get to know every single detail. We have to just go through the experience. There has to be this impactful moment, because my guys don't tell me every single little thing. They're much more about, just be calm or tell you things or whatever. There's so many things too that they tell me. Sometimes I feel like I'm being a fake or a phony, because some of the stuff they tell me about my own future or whatever, and then I said, I don't talk about some of the stuff because I'll even sound crazier. And yesterday when I was sitting there thinking about that, like sounding so much crazier, I was like, man, I already sound so crazy. Am I supposed to just go all in on this crazy stuff? I don't know. I'm not ready to just completely start saying all the stuff that they say, even if it's claiming I claim the stuff. And I know with destiny, it's not like you can change it. It doesn't matter if you claim it or you don't claim it. Destiny is going to happen the way destiny is going to happen. There, and you either see it coming or you don't see it coming. But whatever, what they've been telling me, it just makes me feel like I'm not being honest when they tell me some things, and then I'll say, like, well, I think I'm going to do this, or I think I'm going to go do that. Because I feel like that they're a lot more defined, but there's still a vagueness. There's still a part, I'm not sure. But anyways, I was just thinking about that. Like, that keeps like gnawing at me that I don't like to. I am one of those people who want to be like very, very honest. I'm like, I don't like to not be. And so, but then I'm not going to just sit and tell all this stuff, because I think to a lot of people it just sounds like crazy fantasy anyways. I think a lot of stuff is going to change. Like, the one thing for sure that I had noticed is a lot more people really getting into the awakened part, not just like the traumatic part, but getting into the part where you start kind of like laughing at things like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. And so, that's a good sign for sure. And, but the people who, I just saw this guy live. He has 22 French bulldogs. Those were the ones, like I was saying, like, I want to get Stella a little French bulldog because they're more sturdy. Always at the dog park, those dogs just never seem intimidated by. I don't know. I've just heard they're a good match. Even the one where I got her, that's what they were having, and then they switched and quit doing English Mastiffs and just did French bulldogs because you make so much money. But so this live, so he's got 2 litters, and he's got 22 puppies. Oh my God, they're so cute. They're 8 weeks old and they're ready to go apparently, but they're over $10,000 each. Oh, what? And he's sitting there like people in the comments, because it's live, it's going, and people are asking, like one woman was like, oh, well, I want 6. The guy's like, I'm not lowering, but she wants a deal. He's like, I'm not lowering my price for anything. This isn't like bargain center or something. This is the price. And 22 dogs of at least $10,000. No, did I say 10? Yeah, $10,000. $10,000 each, 22 dogs. Like, this guy's going, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's got some really rich clientele. I think these are those kinds of things that come back and bite you in the ass. Like, you're going to try and hike it up, especially at a time when people don't have a lot of money. I don't know, maybe you just have like a real elite group of people you sell to that have got $10,000 waiting all the time for one of your puppies. I don't know. Maybe he's real involved with the show dogs or something. But this is like one of those things to me where you get, caught holding, you're stuck with some things, you're going to have to lower your price or something. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out, because that's what I think is going on all over the place. Like, your greed or whatever is going to leave you standing there staring at yourself in a mirror, thinking about how greedy you are. And I have seen a lot of people who are coming to that realization too, like that the world is showing you what it is, but it's showing you what you are, who you are, what you are trying to recognize in yourself. But so many people don't want to recognize it. Yesterday, like, my daughter's going through stuff, like the one daughter who's been split up and who's having problems with her guardian daughter, that one. And she was the one who was always, everything had to be so perfect. She was the one everybody thought was the perfect one. And now, everything is blowing up for her. And she's having all of these issues. And she'll ask me, like, well, what should I do? What should I do? I'm like, I'm not. This is stuff you have to figure out. Everybody is held to account to themselves. I can't tell you what to do. And then, I'm involving myself. And then I can be blamed for whatever it is that you don't like how something turned out. This is your journey. This is your responsibility. This is your choices. This is you have to suffer your own consequences. That's the learning. That's what you are meant to do. And so she's, she's just struggling with that stuff, but, she can understand. I'm like, and when you keep asking me, like, well, what do you think about this? Well, you're not saying this. Well, you're doing this. Like, you're distracting yourself. That's the drama. That's when I talk about where people distract themselves with drama. So you go to somebody and you say, well, what should I do about this? And then they, it's so many different things playing out. Like, everything is playing out right now. So it could be multiple things. But, they tell you what to do, then it doesn't work, then you're mad, you're holding against them, then you're going and, well, you said this, you said that. That's your distraction. That is your way of keeping yourself clean from your own consequences. You're just blaming somebody else. Then you get focused on them, what they're thinking, what they're saying. You're distracting yourself from what you need to focus on. You need to focus on how you feel. What is it you want? What do you want from this situation? What are you looking for? What are you trying to heal? What's in you trying to come out? And there was one thing, it was just so obvious to me, whatever it was that she said. And I said, right there, that's your clue right there. That's what you need to focus on, because that is your you're trying to use something to distract away from that thing. And that is what people are so programmed into doing, is to not look at their stuff, to look at everything else around it, to look at other people. But the more you can really look at your stuff, and then I said, the hardest thing to do is to face yourself. It's real easy to sit back and point fingers at everybody else. But once the finger starts pointing at yourself and you have to take on responsibility, it's hard, it's challenging. It's hard because you feel so shitty and you are judging yourself. And so, that is what I've been saying all along, and all these people who aren't awake yet have to go through that. But there's a lot of people who are awake and they think like they are the ones that are, they're the saved ones or whatever. And, I just saw this girl, she was talking about the death video. And, but she is. And so she's traumatized by watching it. But she's like, everybody needs to watch this. I mean, we all need to know what we're dealing with. And this is genocide. I mean, they are purposely killing us. And oh man, I just feel what this person feels like inside. And, she's like, they all have to be held accountable. Like, this is so wrong what they did to all of us. And, the way that people are just dropping dead, and each person, you're a ticking time bomb because you don't know. And the fear that has to involve. And, anyways, the stuff that she was saying, it was just so humble and so gentle and genuine. And just when you compare these people who are just constantly coming in people's faces and yelling and calling them names and, you're stupid, you're sheeple, you're all of this stuff. See, those people, they're in the darkness, and those people are coming into the light. If you can see, it's the energy that they carry. So these people who think they're so awake and they're so ahead and they're the pure, they're this, they're that. But really, they have got a lot of stuff that they are going to be dealing with too when this stuff turns around. And, and I just saw this lady. She was talking about she is 13 days post-op. She got her implants removed. And, man, I just cannot wait for these med beds. I don't want to go under any more knives or anything and have anything dug out of me. So I'm not going in and having them dig out fucking silver out of my teeth or any of this shit. But when I hear these people talk about their symptoms with these things that I know that I have resting in my body, and they've got like the joint pain and all that stuff, there's a similar similar symptoms with all these different things. And so she got hers out, and she's doing good or whatever. And I was just like, man, I just cannot wait. But it made me think about like the med beds, because that's what I'm holding out for, because the med beds aren't intrusive like that. It's different how things are removed. But she it is with some sort of laser, I think if you watch, I think the movie Interstellar, and it's funny too, because I just saw this whole breakdown on Interstellar and Stellar, and Stellar is, there's a whole thing. But I think in that one they showed the med beds, and you go into this med bed, and it is kind of like it closes, it's all programmed in. And I think it evaluates you, like it scans you and figures out what all the problems are. And then it scans to fix them. But there's also some sort of lasers and stuff going on. So, it's like a whole thing that, but it removes anything that doesn't belong there. So even if you had, a knee that has some screws in it for some injury, those will be gone, like all that stuff. And then the antidote thing, and then the med bed. So a lot of these people, that they're having to face illness, or the consequences of the shot, and so they're having to acknowledge that, right? And so that is the process. So, I still feel like there are a lot of people who have these, or I don't think every single person's going to die. Like, like how some of these people would have us believe. I think some of them are going to get if they'd looked in Looking Glass and saw that every single one died, they wouldn't even developed it, And so on the news, they're putting out the seriousness of this zombie thing, and the people who are dead or reanimating, that would be all artificial. You know, it's the things that they put inside of them that they're reanimating. I sure the fuck wouldn't want to work in a morgue right now, I'll tell you that. I wouldn't even want to work in a hospital, nothing. I mean, everybody is going to, like, people, this is a sad thing too, is like people who were desperate for their position, to hold on to their position. Think about that, like your position in life, what you have worked for, you've yearned for to get this position. They get their position and then they don't want to give it up. And then, you know, all this stuff that is going to be going on, and people are going to be scapegoated. But the people is sad because these people who are so desperate to hold on to those positions are the ones who are going to be thrown under the bus. And so the people who were just like pushed to the brink and walked off the job, and, you know, a lot of people left licensed positions. And, you know, that is, you know, that is like you have to see for yourself. But some people, they're blinded by their desperation, by their own, and it is also not, it's the desperation to hold on to your rules. Like, you know, you got to be a doctor, you got to have your bills paid, you got to have, you know, a summer house, you got to have a boat, you know, all of it, whatever it is, you know, because it's so funny too, because that stuff often comes as you go into the career. And then you start being around other people in that career, and this is what they are trying to get, what they have, what they own. And then it's like, well, they have that, so I guess I'm supposed to have that. You know, we're always trying to define ourselves. God, I'm so stuffed up. And the sneezing and stuff, oh my God. But I don't have any fog right now. But I know that those people who have the fog, they're getting tinted with some sort of chemicals. And the amount of people who are sick right now, and I saw this doctor talking about, it is people's immune systems are just fucked. And so they're going to get everything. And that's what I was saying. That's what they've done, is they've just screwed everybody's immune system. So every sickness, and then you're out there around all these sick people, and then your immunity is weakened, and then they just keep dropping all of this stuff to just make you weaker and sicker. And so, you know, man, all the stuff is where people have to see it for themselves. They have to see the dangers around them. Like, this is not the time to be going out to dinner and going to concerts and stuff like that. Like, we are in such a time of change. And, you know, just on the idea of leaving stuff in the past, you know, and this was one I was thinking about because, you know, like my cup of tea. I mean, maybe small and stupid to some people, but, you know, I mean, I've been drinking this tea since I was a teenager. And so it's been a part of my life for a long time. And, you know, it's had some changes. Like, I used to put, I don't know, did I know when I drank iced tea, I'd always put sweet and low in it. I don't remember if I put sweet and low in my hot tea. I don't know. I maybe did. I don't know. But the coffee mate, like, it makes it really super sweet. So this sweet tea in the morning that I have been drinking for so long. And then, you know, once I started seeing through the coffee mate thing, it's like, well, I got to stop drinking that poison and all other weird shit that's in there. Ah, my nose is stopped up. It's a big stop bubble. Oh my gosh. Or some worm starts coming out. But anyways, so when I was drinking that, you know, and then when I saw that, it was been hard to let go of. Man, I was trying so many different things, and then I go back to Coffee Mate, and then I go try something else. And, you know, I'm just trying all these different things to try and replace that, but get, you know, keep that same thing. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, I realized, oh, this is something that is gone. That's the past. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where you have to let go of things that you used to hold on to. Like that cup of tea, that was a period of time in my life. And I have to have appreciation for that, but that doesn't mean it's going to go on for the rest of my life. That was just a period of time. And that is what so much of our life is just moments of time. And no matter how long they are, your moment of time that you were married to this person, that was a moment in time. That was an experience. That was a relationship for you to learn from. So all different things are just moments in time. But so then I really realized, like, oh, so, I'm doing a different cup of tea now. I'm not doing the same thing. It's a new thing. I'm changing, and that is being let go of. So that Kelly who had that cup of tea, that isn't there anymore. That's gone. That Kelly, that whole thing is gone. And now there's another one. There's this Kelly. Maybe she's a little paranoid. Maybe she's a little crazy. Maybe she pays attention to things that other people don't pay attention to. But now, I haven't even been putting creamer in my tea at all. I've been having just like the black tea, but I've been putting a bunch of herbs in it. So herbs and spices and some of them I put tea, but some I just put herbs and spices and honey. And so, and it's got chamomile and lavender and mint. And I'm even going to keep working on more blends and stuff. I'm really trying to get more healthy stuff in it. But anyways, I was just thinking about that yesterday because I was like, that is like total example, even though it's kind of small and probably, not that important to somebody, but that was exactly what I've been talking about, where people have to let go of the past. And it's going to force it. Like it's going to force it. The hospitals are awful. They're shorting all sorts of medicines now. There's, it's going to blow up in people's faces, this dependency. It's going to slap some people hard. It's going to hurt, there's going to be death from it for sure. It was all horrible. Fucking Canada, they're all in now. It's like 12-year-olds. Yeah, you're allowed to be euthanasia. Just come in with your sob story. Doesn't have to be too sad. They're putting people to death for poorness. So, and they've already done like 10,000. Canada. I mean, the absurdity. It was absolute absurdity. It's just mind-boggling. But and this one was I think New Zealand is where this happened. And I'm not sure the whole entire story. I've just heard some of it. I guess it's really outrageous and people are freaking out about this. I can't even imagine being a parent right now of small kids. Like, I would be doing things very different, though, because I see what's happening. And so many people, it's like the slow bandage being torn off. But this, they had their infant. So I don't know if it was just born. I'm not really sure. But it's something about these. And the parents refused and said no. So they took this tiny infant and took custody away from the parents and did it. And so people are freaking out. And I've seen people saying, like, you could think this is just New Zealand. This is spreading. There's stuff going on in Australia, too. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, there's like... but see, the people have to, acknowledge or say, no, we want more. No, I'm not putting up with this. And in a sense, we're still so out of balance, with the awake people. And it's weird too, because man, the bullies just get meaner and meaner. Like some of these people who are asleep or the NPCs or whatever, I don't know, but they're really locking in on this shit, man. They are just getting meaner and meaner. It's weird. And, it's like, it is if you think about it in the dollhouse, then you could consider, like they're taken over by evil. They're feeding the evil that, so, and there was some more stuff with the money thing. Like the money thing, hopefully this week is all this stuff is gonna go down. Like the stuff that they're saying with what's going on with the fighting and threats and stuff like that, like that could go at any second. And apparently Putin is saying, he's got no problem using nukes, but that is, to me, that's all just the outrage to wake people up, because I know that they can't do that. Another thing too is, there's a news report, that sinkhole in China that had opened up, like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. On this news report, it was saying that people are seeing reptilian looking creatures coming out of it. Like, I would think anything like that opened up when they're sitting there saying there's an ancient forest and shit, then there's ancient bugs, there's there's everything in there. That's what people just don't understand. Like, they think this is just a world. This is like a bunch of worlds. This is realities. This is stacks of realities. This is like the other day, I got some Brussels sprouts, and every bit of the food, I swear to God, they're messing with that. But even with the Brussels sprouts, when you pull out the little, or cabbage or onions, and you start pulling out the layers, it's layers and layers. And there's always another one underneath and another one underneath. And that is what this world is. It's just stacks. It's layers of possibilities. It's layers of realms and realities. And it is everything is alive in those realms. Like, that realm exists. Just because you don't see a humanoid walking around it doesn't mean that is a less, like, that reality is just as valid and just as important as the reality that we find ourselves in. There is, because you got to think about, like, if you were a soul, like, what if you didn't want to just come and do this kind of stuff? What if you wanted to just go be a tree? What if you wanted to just go be a flower and just grow slowly and feel the warmth and feel the ground and all that stuff? Like, you don't even know what you perceive. So what if you want to go in and perceive that? What if a whole bunch of people do? Or a bunch of beings do? Go in, they create a whole forest. That forest is just as valid as a whole group of people marching through the streets. Like, there is no difference on the importance. It's each individual soul is having its own experience. And so that is the experience of that soul. And that is what that soul learns from. So every single thing is valid and important. And so, I think people think like, life is a bacteria, that would not be a worthwhile life. Those lives should end. I mean, right now they're trying to say, whose life should end, whose life has no value, whose life has no worth. And, they just, I don't know. It's just like going all in when you telling us, you have to put your pets to sleep and you have to eat stuff. And now there's commercials for their new baby, or if it's an infomercial or a commercial or whatever it is. I've seen this ad where they are making babies in a lab, just like the Cabbage Patch. Like, I just feel so certain, so certain that, as white people, we were grown in a lab. I swear, I can't get it off my I don't even care if I just know when you go to First Nation, when you go to the indigenous people, the people where it all came from, there is not white people. The tribes are dark people. All of them. There is not. There just isn't. I just know we're lab created ourselves. So, but that is a part of the whole thing here, so I feel like there's so many things that people get themselves so upset about and so distraught about, but it's just in how they're looking at it. Because when you see that when you understand what this place is, then some of that stuff won't bother you as much. Like, because there's a bigger picture at work. There's so much more happening than just what's happening in our individual lives. And yesterday I saw a thing too. What was that? Man, there's so many things that they show me. I wish I could remember them all and tell them all, because some of the stuff is it's so profound and so interesting. And it can be such little things all throughout the day, like the most smallest thing, and they'll tell you something. It's just like, oh, wow, yeah, that makes so much sense. But I can't remember. There was one that just, I don't know what it was. I don't know. I feel so blank. But you know what? One of the things too is with the money thing and the banking thing. So there's a house that's on this street that's further down, and they were building it really quick. It was going up so fast, and then it got stuck. And so they got the side. I don't know what's going on the inside, but on the outside they've got the siding on half the house, and not in the other half. And then the yard's not in or anything like that. So it's just been sitting there since they started doing the siding, and then everything stopped, which to me right there shows a money situation. And so that has been months. That house has been sitting there. This one back here, I still feel certain that it's one of their team that is living there. I don't think it's sold. You know, it just doesn't feel like it. Like, it doesn't feel like a new neighbor moved in. It feels like that it's somebody staying there to watch over the house. And which to me, again, shows that there's a lack of money movement. And then over here, where the construction's still been going and going, but he's got such a huge job, he's probably not having to go in and get, you know, more money or transfer it or something. But there was some other stuff I had seen with the money thing too. I can't remember. There's just so much stuff. And when I'm on there, I'm just going so fast, because as soon people are just talking about things that, you know, I'm not going to go in and listen to everybody's awakening story and what everybody's going through and all that. It's just one after another after another. And it is, you know, common theme. Awakening and seeing the truth, or these people who just get more, you know, into the drama and blame. And I'm telling you that the blame and the drama and the victimization is feeding the dark. Is upside down, where people think, oh, I'm the victim. I'm the, you know, well, you're not of the light when you're playing the role of the victim. The role of the light is the victor. It is the one who has conquered. It is the champion. You have to champion yourself out of the trauma. You have to heal it. Then you're feeding the light. When you're just focused on the dark and poor me, and oh my gosh, I'm such a victim, my life sucks, everybody sucks, everything sucks, like, then you're feeding the dark. So you're drawing the dark onto you. So the dark will... It is very parasitic, you know. They feed you, you feed them. It goes back and forth. And then, you know, these people who don't even have any awareness of it, and you've got this darkness just sitting there feeding your dark, giving you more to keep it going. They're just keeping your fire going. You have to break free from that, you know, and it really is like you will feel yourself like walk out and become a new you. You have to raise your vibration to get the dark off of you. And there is all sorts of, like, yeah, depending on your level, how you do it, you know, you can do it through ceremony, you can do it through different things, just like the egg washing thing, you know. It's however you want to do your ceremony to do it. To me, like, if I start feeling that, you know, to me it's turn on music and dance around and sing, get your energy bigger, get it happier. focus on something that makes you happy, not on something that makes you sad. And, with all the people who are having to face so much trauma, because like this one girl was saying, she wasn't expecting all of a sudden, while all this stuff is being shown to her on the world stage, she wasn't expecting to suddenly start seeing her own stuff come to the surface. She wasn't prepared for that. And that is what a lot of people are not going to be prepared for. And I'm always trying to tell people, but, until it happens, you just don't know what it's like. And so, she's having all of this stuff come up, which I know lots of people are, that because that is what is supposed to be happening. This is your opportunity to grow, your opportunity to change. But, you have to want to do it. You have to listen to your internal. Your internal is giving you guidance of how to maneuver this whole situation, the whole scenario that's happening on the planet. But it's just so easy to move out of your own guidance and start listening to Joe Blow down the road. And, and we do have, we've got all these angry men who have been, formulating a group, and I really don't, I still, a civil war makes no sense to me. Yeah, you could take the conservatives and you could say, and the vets and stuff like that, they are not going to go. The only reason I would think that they would hurt another person is if that person was coming at them or something. But the other side, the liberal side, the progressive side, they're not going to go get guns and stuff. They're not going to, some of those guys are down at the stores looking at heels and stuff. They're not into the same things. They don't see the same things. They see it a lot more of, really drawing on their feminine side and trying to be more gentle and kind. But it still is out of balance because you got to have the masculine and feminine. And then we've got the conservative guys, and they are, they're mostly really drawing on their masculine right now. And when that flips, then, they're going to have to humble themselves, and because it's all fear, it's one thing if somebody comes busting in your house and you have to go, full on, fight to the death or whatever, somebody comes at you. But to be the one going out and going, in all of these groups being formed and stuff, that is more based out of fear, because you're not trusting the plan, you're not trusting your God, because most of the conservatives call themselves Christians. And so that is, there's a whole huge thing going on with the Christians and faith. And I think really realizing that they kind of tricked you on the whole God thing. They took our creator and then they, manipulated that concept to control you. And then, because once they start saying that God would damn anybody to hell, no. And that is so strange how people want to believe that. They want that. And, they want that hierarchy. They want to be the better person. They want to see certain people go to hell and stuff. But, that is, everybody has got their dark side they're going to have to face. And it's so much different than what people think, facing it. Because it's coming from inside of you. It's like the storm is brewing inside of you. And so it is, you feel every single bit of it. And, there will be no way to trick yourself through this. Everything is being pulled away. The veil being pulled away is your blockage to the truth. And the truth is your own truth too. It's not just the truth of this reality, but it's your truth to who you are. And so as the veil thins, you're going to see who you are more and more. And that is just, especially as people have spent so much of their lives pointing fingers, blaming everybody else for their lives and saying that's the bad guy, that's the bad guy, that's the bad guy. Then when it comes down to having to face yourself, then it's very hard, very traumatic. And people are just not going to be, I just feel so certain that is going to be the hard part, where people are going to just start killing themselves. They're going to just see like it's just not worth it. There's so much suffering. It's just too hard. Like my daughter, who has been in counseling for fucking 10, 15, I swear to God, she started when she was a teenager and stuck with it. And she's just turned 30. So like 15 years going to counseling and stuff. And she was always just, to me, it is like you define, you develop, you decide, like, this is the life for me. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you go at it and you create this certain life. And like I said, hers was was very bougie, like, and I mean, man, from the time she started working, she was like, move straight up. She's manager at Orange Julius, and she's doing the something at a gym. Like, she had jobs that were, not like the typical kid jobs. Then, when she got out of college, she was making a ton of money where other people were struggling. Like, she's always been that is like trying to be too perfect, kind of. And to me, I was always telling her, you put too much rules on yourself. You got to relax. Everything doesn't have to be so fucking perfect. But she's, the whole thing is all that counseling, and she was still out there trying to be so perfect. And so was that counseling? Because I've said psychology is a part of Western medicine. It is not really truly helping you get to your best self. It is, it's just a way to talk while you take your Wellbutrin, I swear to God. That's all it's about. Because she was still having all those things. There is such a difference in spiritual healing and psychology, I think. And so now, while she's been going through this stuff, and, she's having to face herself, truly face herself, then, now, and that is one thing. Like, if you come to me with your problems, I'm going to turn it back on you. Because it's not about what I think, it's what you have to face you. Everything is you facing you. There's nothing productive that is done by somebody else doing anything for you, or you doing anything for anybody else. The production comes from you facing yourself and healing yourself. And so, when I was talking to her yesterday, and I said, it's the hardest thing. And she was like, yeah, this is so hard that, she just wants out. She just wants to kill herself. Like, and then they pull out these fucking euthanasia beds or whatever the fuck while people are going through this. Oh, don't bother, why focus on healing? Just go ahead, life's too hard. Well, you got to understand, this is a soul's journey. This isn't just Kelly. No, this isn't just Kelly came out of the stars. And no, this is a whole thing. Like, everything you do, you are contracted in with every single person around you. You're playing a part. And, the more you focus on this world, the less you focus on you and your healing. The more you have to come back and do it again and do it again and do it again, because you can't stay focused on what you're supposed to focus on. And it's hard and it's challenging. And, and people who have been in counseling for half their life are still finding this to be the most difficult thing. So, I just know when I did it, that it was super difficult. But to me, I don't give myself a choice. Like, even when I kept looking up and I kept seeing myself hanging from the rafters, then, I knew that was like a dark energy. And my house was dark. Like, it was dark. Like, I was my dark winter for sure. And, they'll put those images in your head, and you think like that is your sign or something to go do it. And I knew it was my sign to reach out and talk, get out of this darkness. And, but when I went through it, I just know it was very, very lonely. It was very hard. Nobody could understand what I was talking about. Nobody's understood what I've been talking about since then. Since my healing, once you do your healing, you're always talking above what other people understand, because there's something happens that your understanding changes on things as you heal. So, like I said, like even when I'm saying stuff, I feel like so many times I'll say stuff and I don't think it's interpreted the exact same way that I am meaning it or saying it, so that just is frustrating. But that is wavelength. That is like our frequency, and there's just a whole thing about how we're all just on different frequencies, and we don't truly understand everybody the way we think we understand them. There's people can say things and mean something completely different than how you perceive it. And, it's so much based on how you feel about yourself is how you perceive it. I was watching, I've seen a couple of movies that have been, like they're just bringing me certain things to point out stuff. Like after I said that, after I came back and videoed again and about the white thing, and, that I feel like that we are their little AI creatures, their little slaves or something. And that, right after that, and then I watched some movie, it was called Beneath the Lies. It had Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. And so I saw it a long time ago. I knew it was some sort of ghost story, but I wasn't, I didn't know all the details of it. I just remembered it was some sort of ghost story. So I started watching it, and then right away he worked for a genetics place, and of course there's murder and stuff involved, but that to me was confirmation of all the fucking movies that I'm going to put on. And the killer guy is a genetic scientist or whatever. It was like, okay. Those are the kinds of things where you have to read the signs. The signs are always talking to you. They're always giving you confirmation. Like, my freaking confirming, my hair is whacked out. So, gosh, oh. And I swear to God, whatever they're doing with this stuff is just jacking my hair. I cut more off. It is, I don't know. But then it gets so tangled you can't even get a comb through it. I think it's a frequency or something is just, I don't know. It's like guitar strings too. It makes, I don't know. I'm just like, ugh. Whatever I was saying. Oh, damn. I don't even know what I was about to say. Something before I went off on my hair. Well, I don't know. I've already been talking a long time anyways. But no matter what, everything is, it's an opportunity for growth right now. But it is not simple and easy. It's not going to be, it's like you really, truly have to face yourself. And it is difficult, and it is starting, and, people are already having to do it. And anyways, to me, that's going to be what's going to really cause problems, is that part. Because it's hard. And so when the people are going through that, they're at their wits' end. Like, I really hope that this money is going to make things so much easier, for people to face, like, they've got some serious shit that they've got to deal with. And, the whole thing, I just have so much empathy for people feeling tricked. I know so many people are going to feel so tricked. And that's hard. it's hard, you know, just listening to people who were being cheated on. You know, there's so many of these. And this lady, it was the love of her life, and they're sitting there watching a movie, and all of a sudden she sees a message. She pretended like she didn't see it, but some girl wants to rub her boobs all over her husband. So the next morning she goes and starts doing all of this investigation, and you know, he's got, I don't know, OnlyFans. He's got, I don't even know all of the different porn sites, whatever, but he's got a whole thing on all these ones. And so then she even started looking up, I'm sure there's messaging and stuff, and so she started looking up like dates, trying to cross-reference to see like, were they having problems during these times when he is doing these things. And she said no, but it was even a day where, you know, it was something, I don't remember if she was trying to do something sweet for him or whatever, but he would blow her off so he could go spend time with these other girls. So anyways, this girl was devastated. She already moved out, but it's that trick. Is that like, you know, that you play it over and over and over and over. You know, how did I not see that? And then each little time, oh, he said that. So then you have to look at it from the other perspective. And see, that is like a life review, getting those opportunities so that you can get these other perspectives. Because it's also, you get an opportunity to add perspective. Look at it from other sides. Look at it from another direction. Expand your thinking. Expand your perception. Expand your perspective, because you'll find the most, you know, ignorant people have the most limited perspective. They just don't know how to see beyond what they see. And that is your gift of intelligence right there, is to see beyond what you can see, to open your mind to see way more and to see the possibilities, and to have the understanding of the perception of all things. There isn't just your perspective out there or your perception. There's a perspective and perception of all things all around us. So, you know, I sometimes I don't even know if I'm explaining anything right or whatever. It is just so much more helpful when you can just see this stuff. You know, just keep working on your communication with the other side, you know, like, don't give up on any of the challenges. Just like what they were saying, like they should have been teaching us about telepathy in school. Like if we were going to be going to be trained for anything, there was other things that they should have been teaching us. Things that we have that are a part of us, that we have abilities, but they want to keep those abilities in the dark because they want to keep us controlled. So, you know, all of your communication stuff, just keep working on it, but just be mindful that you have to use discernment of the frequency. You have to pay attention to what your information that's coming in, and you really have to clarify to yourself if it's the light or the dark. And just remember, it doesn't matter. Don't feel like you're a rotten person because you have focused on the dark or whatever. We all have it. It is finding the balance, and that's what we all have to do. Somebody who is just giving, and thinking that they're such a nice person. No, they're also a resentful, angry person. That, you know, and a lot of people mask that because they don't want to show that side of themselves. Everybody has to find their own balance, because I doubt that there's very many people who are living in this three-dimensional society that are breaking free from it that are in balance. Most people are very, very out of balance in all sorts of ways. And that is just the best way to start, is just finding your balance. You know, one thing to me that has helped me is actually doing balance. Actually just balancing myself. And then while I'm balancing, focusing on like, and this is coming from somebody who I couldn't even lift my foot barely off the ground without falling. And now I can I can stand on one leg. I could do, what is that bird? Like a flamingo. Like I can stand around like a flamingo, you know. And I used to not even be able to lift my foot off the ground. So, God, she's such a chunk. Yeah, she gets so with her food and so. Oh gosh, she's being so funny. Oh my gosh, she's being so funny. So to me, she seems like she's doing really good, and it seems like some of her cysts are even getting smaller. I really hope that that there's the change is already happening, but maybe it's just like slow, like what Juan had said. It's like trying to turn a ship around in the ocean. It takes time, and so maybe that is, and we're already going into our better timeline. Oh, so now she's gonna do a whole. Oh, well, I'm trying to talk nice about you, and then you're going to say that? I'm trying to say how good you're doing. Well, oh, lady, she keeps trying to do, because I'm always telling her, you got to show me, I don't know what you're talking about. Now she's trying to come up with new kind of sounds, and she's trying to, when we were in Yakima, my daughter has a husky, and they're always talking, and so he was talking and talking. And so then I started telling Stella, see, you got to use more words. You got to try that. So since we've been home, she's been doing so many more. She's trying all sorts of things with her voice. It's so cute. She's just so cute. God, she cracks me up. But anyways, so whatever I was saying, it's your, I don't even remember. I probably finished what I was saying. I don't know. I swear, I feel so weird. I feel so weird and so out of it. I feel so like, man, I don't know. The more you heal, the more you just see like, nothing is real. And it just feels weird. Like I swear to God, I can't even tell you how many times a day I have to reorient myself and remind myself where I'm at. It is weird. Like I can just slip into thought and I'm somewhere else. I'm not here. And then coming back, it's like you go back in and it's like, oh yeah, I'm here. This is where I'm at. Oh yeah. It is weird. And I don't know if like once I move into my next stage, if it is going to be, so much of a challenge to stay present in the reality, because I'm sure having problems here now, but I keep telling myself, well, it's probably just because I'm alone. And it's real easy just to slip out of this reality. And I just know I'm slipping out because when I come back, it's always like, oh, I forgot I was here. It's weird. And how many times I'll come back in and I'll be like, oh my God, where's Stella? And I have to, like, I do these certain markers, like, well, is my door shut? Is the door locked? So that means she's in the house somewhere. And I have to get up and go look for her. And it's weird. It's so weird. I don't know. It kind of reminds me, I guess, of when I was a kid and in school. But I was so much more, doubtful of myself back then. I would have been like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that again. Oh my God, I've got an F. I don't even know what's happening in class. We're having a test. What are we being tested on? I was always like, every day I was never in class. I was always somewhere else. And then anyways, that's what I'm having again. Or just keep being gone. And then it's so weird because it's weird because you're not really getting up in your body and leaving somewhere, but you come back into your body and into the present life. And it is, I don't know, it's trippy. So anyways, there's more to come. I think that I really hope this week is like, come on. I hope this week is that, if they're going to fucking nuke us or whatever. I feel bad for the people who are all in the fog. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to get sick. I feel so certain when they do that, because all these people are even saying this isn't normal, that we don't ever have this. It's completely weird. And it looks weird. I just know it's all chemicals. Like, we're tinted. Like, they tint us in certain places with their atmosphere. And then the atmosphere holds the density. And it's the same kind of thing as like when they talk about like a virus being able to go through the openings. Like it's the same thing what they do with the atmosphere and the density. They know which things will hold it in, and then how people are affected and breathing and stuff. You know, and they've got so many respiratory problems right now, so many. But that was always going to be coming. I mean, because those were putting respiratory disease into people's lungs. So, you know, now we're going to have the repercussions of so many things that people were just not. And you still have the people who are still just locked in. Like, everybody better get these on, and you better get these. They got new ones coming out. It's like, oh my God, it's so mental. So anyways, I hope this week, you know, fucking just take this money thing down, put the other guy in office, threaten us with the nuke, whatever. Do whatever you're going to do. Let's just get this shit going and turn the other direction. Because, you know, it's not going to be like an instantaneous heal for people. It's going to be a bigger slap in the face for some people. Especially people who thought, you know, that the one guy was the bad guy and the other guy was the good guy. That is going to be a concept that is going to really blow up in their faces. So a lot of these things are going to keep blowing up and keep having to, that is the actual purge of that energy out of our reality, out of our existence, for our new existence. You know, we're in the process of blowing up the old one to start the new one. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.